Well, I've been fortunate enough to do things for shows, designs for people in the past, but I've never had to design something that I've had to print myself. The cool thing about designing stuff is that you you have to think a few steps ahead as to what you know how to do. Say you're creating a design with silkscreen T-shirt. It's going to be printed on black T-shirts, and you have two or three inks to choose from. You need to design something creatively around those limitations. And I've had a little bit of experience with that in the past. With this design, I knew I had all the colors in the universe to create a piece of paper that's colorful, but I had one color to go over the top, and that was black. So I'm pretty sure my buddy got the idea to ask me to do these posters when he saw this free water slide thing that I did for my Patreon pals. Basically, this was an 8 by 10 piece of mat board that I spray painted the colors on beforehand and then silk screened a single black image over it. He said, "Hey man, can you make me some posters?" And I said, "Sure thing. What do I design for four bands that I'm not that familiar with?" Well, he said, "They're in Las Vegas, so why don't you make it Vegas themed?" So I ran with that and came up with a few Las Vegas themed zany characters, not knowing quite yet where I'd lay them out. But I put them in different positions so I could cut and paste them, and hopefully they'd look cool where I did decide to put them. A design aesthetic that's always delighted me to no end is the way that these old posters from the Chitlin circuit from 50s and 60s were laid out, and the color schemes and everything. There was boxing posters that look like this as well. I knew that making something like in this layout with just the shapes and the color schemes, I knew that was what I wanted to do with this thing. So I laid out all my artwork and put out the band names and all that good stuff. Then I mocked up a color profile, which I didn't end up using. I got the go ahead for the look, so I decided to add a little bit more uh, with the black behind the characters to add a little more texture. And a couple hours later, I had my design. Let's move on. So I printed out my design on some transparencies, and since it was bigger than 8 by 10, 11, I needed to cut them up and place them in a way that there wouldn't be any seams or anything like that. I put them on my board and began burning. 12 minutes. At the end, it turned out pretty good. There was a little bit at the bottom left that was funky, but I felt that that was acceptable because, hey man, art ain't perfect. So I used a little screen filler and moved on. I got this very expensive package of vellum at Staples in hopes that I could use it for films. But it doesn't work in my printer. So last night when I was thinking about the colors scheme that I wanted to go for, I thought I'd very much like the yellow, orange, red family layout things. So the most important part is the band names. I want those to be front and center. The secondary would be the characters, so I'll do them in orange. And then the rest I can freehand, so that should be fun. Now let's cut some stencils in fast motion. Alright, here we are. Day 4 of our excursion, perhaps. I finished all the yellow. And I had an idea to try this orange spray paint for the orange. And I could spray it in 2 seconds and it looks fantastic. My only concern is this color has always dried sticky, so it would be horrific if I sent my buddy a bunch of posters that were all stuck together. If I put all this trouble just to have them stuck together. I changed my mind. I'm going to do it with spray paint. It'll be okay. So what took me a long time yesterday just took me a few minutes today, which is pretty cool. So I got my yellow and my orange. Now I'm going to do red. And then I had a fun idea to do a little splatter art in the end. I had a fun idea. I just took a little bit of the airbrush paint I was using. I'm just going to add a little line. Probably won't completely match up, but that's okay, because we're making art. Well, I got most of them done before I made a mistake and had to clean the screen out and dry it. I'll do the rest tomorrow. They'll need little touch-ups. Each of them will need little touch-ups. So I'm gonna do that now, and then hopefully tomorrow the ones I do will not need touch-ups. So yesterday I made a mistake 7 prints away from the end. It's definitely going to push me in the direction of trying to get a proper squeegee soon, and making my screens better. This process is, it takes so many different factors to get correct, and that's a fun journey. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Because, alright, so my friend asked me to do 20 of these. I did 25. I really screwed up 2 of them. And I'll just send him the rest. Because I know he's going to make big money off of these things. Especially after I sign him. Here are a few examples of our finished posters. I think I'm just going to sign these guys. And that'll be it for this. So I'd like to thank the special person who asked me to do this job. I had a lot of fun, and I learned a lot here. I'd like to thank all my Patreon patrons. It is with your help through this platform that I have the freedom to try these new things. With a little bit of money, it's easier to take new chances. Without money, of course, you can't do anything. So, thank you, everybody. If you have a band, or if there's any kind of poster you'd like me to make for an event you're doing, I'd be happy to give it a stab. I love trying new things. So if there's anything that I can do that can help you, let me know. And I'll be happy to give it a go for you. But that's it for now. So thank you very much for joining me on this screen printing adventure. And I'm going to get these out to my buddy soon. The event's July 27th, so he planned in advance. It's good to plan in advance. Goodbye, friends.